Hey, it's me, Demetrius Wren, the other creative behind Nulero, where we bring you visually striking, emotionally resonant film and television that expand the boundaries of storytelling. Okay, so one of my favorite memories as a kid was getting with my aunt, grabbing some drinkables and snackables, jumping on her couch. She was in her early 20s and I was just 7 or 8. And waiting for the iconic show that came on Comedy Central, Mystery Science Theater 3000. If you've never heard of the show, then stop this video right now, Google it, and enjoy some late 80s and early 90s nostalgia that itself was harkening back to the nostalgia and love of 1950s and 60s films. There was something so charming about the campy B-level sci-fi films with commentators who were totally aware of how kitschy the whole thing was. Actually, when I think back to my dream of being a filmmaker, as much as the films of Spielberg and the Wachowskis or Wong Kar-wai inspired me, and they all have influences on my writing and storytelling to this day, it was the joy of sitting on the couch with my aunt that originally gave me the calling to make films. So, a couple of years ago, I opened my laptop and started writing again. Now, this wasn't my first feature film. I'd made feature documentaries like Streetball and indie films like Saudade and Moon and Sun, both of which are available to stream now on our website, nulero.io. And I have been working and still do work as a creative director for a handful of large brands and agencies. Over the last few years, I could tell my work was getting more polished, refined, but I was also afraid that my voice was straying too far from something that got me started so many years ago. That fun feeling of watching a crazy genre film that really pushed the boundaries. A film that could start as a drama, morph into a comedy, flip back into a coming of age, and whoa, where'd those aliens come from? But let's be real. It wasn't my choice to stop writing those films. It was the curse of the elevator pitch. Chapter 1. Why I despise the elevator pitch, but still need to do it anyway. Okay, so imagine this. You're hanging out in Los Angeles or New York, and your friend, who's also a producer, asks, "So you working on anything?" And you say, "Yeah, I wrote a movie." And she smiles and says, "Well, pitch it to me." And then you start monologuing about relationship complications, friendships that aren't really friendships, career crisis, a possible murder, maybe a government conspiracy, sci-fi experiments, and she stops you and says, "Whoa, dude, slow down, pick a genre. Tell me in one sentence what the heck your movie is about." And you stumble and say, it's about a woman named Nora who, well, before that, she's a painter, but that's really not about what she does. Let me start over. And then that friend smiles and walks away as your brain does a factory reset right in front of her. And then you turn to the mirror and say, "Crap, what the heck is my freaking movie about in one sentence?" Also, is it possible to really be that self-aware as an artist to know what your film is really about? I mean, sure, you can list plot points and say it's like this movie meets this movie, but is that what you're really struggling with in the themes and the characters? Like, is Quantum Aerotech really the true antagonist of my film? Oh, never mind. You'll just have to watch the movie and you'll figure it out. There are movies that I've made that I've had an incredibly hard time distilling down to a one-sentence log line because my films are so personal yet also driven by impulse and deep instinct. Do I have some sort of fundamental flaw when it comes to writing, or is this the freaking creative process? My Marxist friend would say that the idea of the elevator pitch was developed by corporate America infiltrating the film industry, calling film ideas property and selling them as fictitious or fake all-American family in order to make a ton of cash for investors and care about yearly returns more than creating art, favoring a globally marketable, quote, high-concept film instead of nuanced character dramas. And that Marxist friend could be right. And sometimes I think they are. Or is it possible that the elevator pitch is simply a way to take all the crazy noodles that you're throwing at the wall when you brainstorm, narrow them down to what you're really trying to say, and focus, because in a movie, there's so much going on that you need to give the audience a beacon, a lighthouse to follow. We must give props to films like Everything Everywhere All at Once and They Clone Tyrone to allow us artists to take a step away from trying to distill every single freaking thing down to a quick elevator pitch. It's given us permission to say, hey, it's like Everything Everywhere All at Once, and that producer friend at the party says, "Oh, awesome." And then you can make whatever freaking movie you want to make. But even after I say that, the producer will still come back around and say, "So what's the log line?" So I'm not off the hook. All right, here we go. The movie I just finished, one sentence. Here we go. Log line. when a group of hitmen break into her new suburban home while her husband is away on a mysterious work trip. A failing artist uncovers a corporate conspiracy with her husband at the center, one that, without the help of her quirky neighbors, may lead to the actual end of the world. Yeah, that's basically it. Let me know in the comments if it works. I'm asking the question, can I create a film that checks all the boxes of the quote high concept, but still makes space for the nuance of a character drama? But I'm out of time for this video. Come back in a couple of weeks for chapter 2, writing a script to make it, not just sell it.